We all believe in gender equality, right? Yes and no, maybe. I've always believed in gender equality, but I've never labeled myself as a feminist. And I now know why. I didn't want to be disliked. I didn't want to be disliked, especially by men. So, where does that fear come from? Let's get into it. Hello, my name is Sia, and this is my personal space. I sit here and I talk about things that matter. If you're new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with as many people as you possibly can. I truly do appreciate you. Let's get into today's matter. So, where does that fear come from? Feminists are often labeled as angry, bitter, or man hating. And if you're a man and you're a feminist, it's even worse because they call you a simp. I don't even know what that means. But anyway, that's not the chat for today. I was afraid of being called too difficult, too opinionated, basically being too much. I didn't want to be disliked. Yes, I didn't go as far as being a pick me, but I was neutral enough for me to be not called a pick me, but also not to be labeled as a feminist. I was basically just playing it safe. But this is what I've learned about feminists so far. Feminism was never about hating men, it's all about fairness. It's not about targeting individual or targeting men, but it's about breaking down systems. And what's funny is that as a woman in South Africa, I have benefited from feminism, and it goes way, way, way back. If you want to look up 1956 Women's March. You'll kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about when it comes to feminism history and South African. I am living in a country that's considered a third world country. I've got rights to vote, I've got rights to work, I've got rights to freedom of speech, my bodily autonomy, and those things are attributed to feminists. And these are the conversations centered around feminism. Also, things like mental load, gender roles, sexual consent, those ideas are attributed to feminism, and I benefit from them every single day. Yes, some feminists are loud and radical, but that's what it takes because the rest of us are sitting in the sidelines. And to be honest, sometimes you have to raise your voice in this world in order to be heard. Also, if I'm quite honest about the radical feminists that we see mostly online, I truly appreciate those girls. I truly appreciate those girls and I truly love them because a lot of them have been hated because they're fighting for us. You know, the saying that they crawled so we can walk? No, 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 no. They ran so that we could crawl, basically. So I truly do appreciate them. So I always feel like if they can be hated for something that I also believe in or for something that benefits me, the least I could do is just own up to the things that I also believe in, the bare minimum, basically. The shift for me came from realizing that patriarchy doesn't have favorites. Being less difficult doesn't give you any special rewards. Soft girls do suffer under it too. The idea that being quiet or less difficult or soft makes you safe is just an illusion. So, where do I stand today? Today, I can firmly say that I am a feminist. Yes, I do care deeply about connections, especially connection to men, because I am a heterosexual woman. And I do love, I love softness, but those things don't have to cancel each other out. I do not have to betray what I believe in order for me to be easy to love or easy to get along with. Strong and I am soft, I am learning and unlearning all of those things all of those ideas that I had about feminists, especially when I was in my 20s. That's completely okay with me. So what does all of this mean for me now? As a person, as for my channel, it really doesn't mean much. I haven't changed the way that I am, but I just come to a realization that I don't need to shrink myself. I don't need to have this persona that doesn't really resonate with who I am. And it also doesn't mean that I'm gonna change my day-to-day life. There's a lot of things that I see on a daily basis that don't sit well with me, but it just means now I'm able to point out those things, and if I have to stand up for myself, it's something that I'll be able to do. And it just means that now I am less afraid to be called a certain thing, because at times I'm very opinionated, but at times I would shrink my opinion or not say much on certain things because I didn't want to be viewed as a feminist. But it really doesn't mean that it's gonna change my life that much. But I'm just so glad that I can finally just point it out and say, hey, actually, this doesn't sit well with me. Actually, this is what I like and this is what I believe in, and be loud and proud about it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I'll see what the future holds for me. I've come to realize that avoiding being called a feminist was just another way of shrinking myself smaller in order for me to fit in. And maybe you've done that too, and not just this one idea, but in many other things in your life, you've just always maybe just try to shrink yourself in order for you to be more acceptable. It's something that as human beings, because we deeply care about connections and wanting to find your people so much so that you have to shrink yourself. So if you've ever done that, please share with us on the comment section. Have you ever had to shrink yourself in order to fit in or to be accepted? And what was the reason for you to doing that? So please do share with us on the comment section. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with as many people as you possibly can. I truly do appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. I love you loads.